Thanks, Anna. Former Western New York Congressman Chris Collins is set to be sentenced in court next week on charges related to insider trading. Now, ahead of that court date, Collins' family and some friends are writing letters to the judge in support of the former representative, also asking the judge to be lenient. But as our I-Team Chief Investigator Charlie Speck shows us tonight, there are growing calls now for a stiff penalty.
Friends and foes of former Congressman Chris Collins are writing letters to the judge who will soon sentence Collins for insider trading crimes. Most letters to U.S. District Judge Vernon Broderick come from Collins' former constituents, and they urge the maximum sentence. "I urge this court to sentence Mr. Collins to maximum amount allowable under the law," wrote William Fine. "I feel any other sentence will signal to people of privilege that crimes pay." Sharon Kelly wrote that as an elected official, Collins should be held to an even higher standard than the average person. "I am normally a forgiving person," James Renfrew wrote, "but Mr. Collins was so egregious in a position of trust that the court needs to make very clear the consequence of such behavior to other elected officials." Now, a common theme among these letters from his constituents is that Collins insisted on his innocence even after he was charged. That means that his former constituents now have no representative in Congress. "My neighbors and I have had virtually no representation in the House because of Chris Collins' deceptive approach to his constituents," wrote Lynn Gatto. Edward Warnke wrote, "I am ashamed that I voted for him in the first place." Not all the letters were negative. Lori Fry of Fry Electric wrote, "Chris has always demonstrated the highest level of ethics, honesty, and integrity in his roles." And developer Nick Sinatra said, "As you consider Chris's sentencing for his mistakes, I urge that you consider his entire life, not just these moments where he had a lack of good judgment." Now, that state judge based in New York City is set to sentence Collins next Friday. He faces a maximum sentence of 4 years and 9 months, although federal probation officials have actually recommended a year and a day in prison. Live in the studio, Charlie Speck, 7 Eyewitness News.